Hey everyone, so if you read the title of this video, which is right up there for those who don't know, you are not reading that wrong. Today we are doing a review over the new Elite Series Retaliator. So, for those not in the know, the Elite Series have been released, or soft release, which is what we are speculating, either released or leaked to a lot of Toys R Us's around the US. I got mine in Atlanta, and I've checked two other Toys R Us's, one in Tucker, and then one over in Powder Springs, and they all have Retaliators. Some people are getting lucky and finding Rampages. I couldn't find them, so I don't know if they're here in Georgia yet. But today we're going to go over the Retaliator, which is basically the Elite Series Recon clone. So let's dive right into this. So as you can probably tell, first thing about this is it is a reshelled Recon. And when I say reshelled Recon, I literally mean a reshelled Recon. If I pull up the In-Strike Recon, don't mind, this is just an empty shell with a clip super glued into it for a later project. They are almost exactly the same. There's hardly any differences. There's probably no differences to this besides the color scheme. Yeah, you have your reshelled Recon right here, and of course the Rampage is basically a reshelled Raider. Now the difference between them is what's on the inside, and that is a direct plunger system, which is amazing for all of us who care about power and range. We do not have to put up with reverse plungers anymore because those things are annoying to work with, and they break super easily. So hooray Nerf for finally doing something. Let's go to the box. And mine's a little busted, so don't mind it, but the box, this is what it looks like, and it is just like almost every other Nerf box in which you have a very super serious looking kid firing a very large blaster and at least one dart flying out. And on the back it says, Retaliator. You need a blaster that can adapt to meet any challenge. Elite customization is yours with the Retaliator. A blaster built with every possible situation in mind. Now, I do not understand why Nerf continues to do this whole 4-in-1 blaster deal when we know it's one blaster but with, you know, 3 accessories. Can it adapt to any situation? And not really. If I had to take out like 5 guys in a corridor, this would definitely not be the blaster I'd be reaching for. But I mean, the accessories are a little different, but there is one thing that I found to be pretty funny and pretty sneaky that Nerf did, but we will get into that in just a little bit. And on the back, of course, you have the Hailfire and the Rampage on the bottom, with the Hailfire coming out in, I believe, September, though the Rampage and the Retaliator are already out now. So let's dive right into the accessories as I throw my box off to the side. And here are the accessories that come with it. You get yourself a front barrel with flip-up sight. You get a totally redesigned new stock, which I'll go into. And you get, I guess, a tactical grip. So that's pretty awesome. And when we fully assemble this thing together, as I have my barrel upside down, it all snaps together very nicely, which is nice, and it feels pretty sturdy. When you snap it together, this is what you get. You get I guess a decently long blaster, though I will say the stock is extremely small for us people who are tall and big. I mean, this is pretty short. If it was out to here, I would like it a lot more. It'd just be a lot more comfortable than, yeah. The stock, let's start with first, is completely redesigned from the old Recon one. With the old Recon one, this was just bendy and flexible and a pile of garbage. But the new one is a completely solid design, and one thing I do like is that this part is see-through, so when you put it on, you can see that, you know, your plunger, your little plunger rod is all the way back and indicated to be primed. And I do like this little piece down here. I guess you can clip stuff onto that. But in total, it's really small. So even though I do like it, it's kind of useless for me. And I mean, it's kind of useless in general. On the box it says something about, like, you know, stabilize your shot. Stabilizing your shot's really not going to help you that much. So on the front we have a new cool grip. I kind of like it. It's like the Stampede bipod grip, though not as long and without the bipod. I do like the dual color scheme on it. I mean, I guess it's tricolor if you want to count that, but it looks really nice. It goes really well with the rest of the blaster, as you can see on here. I do like the orange highlights going across it. It gives kind of like a little flare of bright color against the dark blue and the white. But yeah, I really like this grip. It is pretty comfy, even with my big hand. As you can see, my hand takes with the whole thing. And we have the front barrel. This is where it gets a little weird. Now, it looks exactly the same as the old Recon barrel, which I have right here, and that's because it is. On the side here, it says copyright 2007 by Hasbro. I do not know if you'll be able to see that, but it says it right there. So that means Hasbro has kept the exact same mold they used for this one. I'm dropping everything today. And basically just put different colors on it. So sneaky Hasbro, very sneaky. It's basically the exact same thing. So you have flip-up sights, and it goes on the exact same way. And of course, it doesn't do anything to help your ranges. Now, one thing that they did change was on the inside here, there is actual rifling, meaning that there are grooves that go around in a spiral, which in real life, if you were to use an actual gun with rifling, that turns the bullet to get it further and with more accuracy. For Nerf, this does absolutely nothing but make it look nice. So that's really the only difference they did to this. So if you plan on using your barrel, that's fine, but personally, I think it's ball crap. So, onto the actual blaster here, and I guess we'll begin with how does it shoot? It shoots very well. Let me shoot off a dart into my hand. Now, when you first fire it, which I did without a clip, it sounds pathetic. It's just a very poor kind of sound. But when you put a dart behind it, and you fire it off, it actually gets some really decent ranges. And as Nerf has said with the new Elite series, it can get up to 75 feet. Now, for those who are saying, oh, I only got, I got under 75 feet when I fired it, Nerf likes to angle their shots for maximum distance, and up to means you can get anywhere from 20 feet to 75. So mine's been getting from one side of my room all the way to the door with a little drop just fine, and that's about 40 feet. Probably with about a 50 to 55 foot range flat, which is very impressive for a Recon clone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up, and we are going to check out the internals on the inside here, and then I'll do a little firing test for you guys. So let's open this up and see what's going on the inside. Alright, so I have unscrewed all the screws in here, and we're going to open this up. It opens up in the same way that a Recon does, as in these little priming rails do not come off, so just remember that. And here are your internals. As you can see, it is much different on the inside. So let's take out the trigger. Let's take out some of these locks while we're at it too. So here's the catch. And here is your spring. It is pretty small, so put the spring aside, and here's your catch. Catch spring is pretty weak like usual, but the catch looks almost exactly like a Recon catch. And here's your plunger tube assembly with your plunger rod and your O-ring. Now the weird thing is, this orange piece on the back is glued on, and you cannot take out your plunger rod. I'm pulling on this pretty hard. I guess that's kind of a little safety thing that Hasbro put on there. Touche Hasbro. So the way you do this is most likely by boiling, though I guess check Nerf Haven and Nerf Revolution before doing anything too drastic. Let's see the seal on this. Wow. The seal is 100%, and that is stock. So good job Hasbro on that. A really nice seal in stock form is always a really good thing. So let's get this lock out. Here's one of the locks, and here is the other lock. So with those two, I will be able to take my clips out. So those are your internals. Oh, another thing I should also add is it uses the type of dart tooth the Stampede was using, which is kind of cool. Though it appears to have a kind of like a dual system right here. This is where the original dart tooth would have been on the Recon, but that just prevents this from being pushed backwards while you are priming your blaster this. So that's kind of like a two-stage dart tooth right there. Enough about these internals. I'm going to show you the internals of an Elite dart. Let me grab them and show you the differences between an Elite dart and a Streamline. So with these two here and an X-Acto knife, we're going to cut down the middle of the Elite dart. If this thing will stop slipping, I have a little bit of the lubricant on my hand, which is annoying. But the lubricant feels pretty good. Not as good as, let's say, Busby lubricant. I like Busby lubricant quite a bit. Now that I have both of these open, you can see that the Streamline head has weight in the front, but it also shifts towards the middle. While with the Elite dart, though it weighs less overall, has most of its weight in the front. So let me zoom in here on this, if I can get this to work. There we go. So as you can see, the differences between the two are quite apparent. This will make it more front heavy and lead it to a better flight pattern than this, where it pushes a little bit of the weight into the middle. And this is why Steffens usually fly better, is because most of the weight is in the front and not so much extended throughout the first half of the dart. So there's the difference in the heads. Let's go to the foam. This is a new Streamline, by the way. So with the foam, if I can get this one unraveled, the Elite dart is a little thicker. I don't know if you can see that, but the Elite dart is just a teeny tiny little bit thicker. As for feel, they feel about the same density wise. Those are your internals, and if you want to mod it, it is quite easy. So yeah, let's go to the firing test now. Alright guys, I want you to say hi to Harold. Harold is what I have named the cardboard box that I punched in the Steffen video. So everyone say hi to him. He is my new target. And from where I am to the blind is about 40 feet, a little bit less since I'm sticking out from the wall and shooting a little bit out from the wall, but we're going to go with 40, 38 feet, somewhere around there. Now I've loaded up the 12 round Elite clip with 2 Streamlines on the top and the rest being Elite darts, so you can see how each of them flies, seeing how the internal weighting on them is a little bit different. So let's load this up. I'm firing parallel to ground. I'm firing it from about, I don't know, 5 feet off the floor, since that's where my shoulder is. So let's see how they do. Here we go. And that Streamline went way to the left. That one went down almost instantly. And here go the Elite darts. As you can see, these things are fishtailing like crazy after being fired, and I'm aiming directly at Harold. That one hit the chair. And I am out of darts. So, with the power behind the Retaliator, do not expect your darts to hit the target you are trying to hit after about 30 feet, because they will probably swerve off to the side. It really depends on your conditions. Since I'm doing it indoors, I do not see how there could be any like wind variables or anything like that, but I have noticed that the Retaliator likes to shoot Streamlines a little bit into a fishtail most of the time, because I guess of the power behind it. I don't know how weighting the Elite darts would go, but I'm sure that would help out quite a bit. But compared to Streamlines, these Elite darts are acting basically the exact way as Streamlines out of a high-powered blaster. So most accurate? No. Better than Streamlines? They're getting there, but there's still some things that could have been fixed with it. Maybe a little bit more weight in the front. But yeah, that's your firing test, and let's go to the final conclusion on this. To sum it up, if you can find the Retaliator at a store near you, I highly recommend you get it. The price may be a little high depending on where you get it. I got mine at Toys R Us for around $32 after tax, but that's because Toys R Us likes to jack up the prices on most of their products. But that didn't bother me one bit. The mod potential for the Retaliator is much higher and much easier than the Recon, because you don't have to fiddle with certain diameter springs. You don't have to worry about your plunger tube breaking in the back, and it's just much easier. There's already a spring replacement guide and an AR removal guide already up on the internet on Nerf Haven, so you can find that. So if you can find this, I highly recommend you add it to your arsenal, and I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I will make another video for you guys later.